Welcome to English Made Easy. Learn through stories. In today's English lesson, we will start with an English story and then explain a few words and phrases from the story to help improve your vocabulary. Let's get started. The Town Frog and the Forest Frog. Chapter 1. The Town Frog's Visit. There is a town frog who lives in a busy town with many parks, cafes, and busy streets. The town frog's name is Tim. He likes to go to cafes and eat different foods. He loves the town, but today he is visiting his friend Fern, a forest frog. Tim thinks, I want to see how my friend lives in the forest. He packs his bag. He puts in some snacks, a book, and his favorite hat. Then he starts his journey to the forest. It's a long way to the forest, Tim says to himself. After a long walk, Tim reaches the forest. It is very quiet and green. He feels a little scared but also excited. Fern lives in a small, cozy burrow at the bottom of a tree. Fern loves her home. It is warm and comfortable. Hello, Tim, Fern says when she sees him. Welcome to the forest. Tim smiles. Hello, Fern. Your home is very nice. Fern is happy to see her friend. She wants to show him how nice the forest is. She thinks, I hope Tim likes it here. Tim is curious. He wants to see how Fern lives. He thinks, this is very different from the town. I want to learn more. Fern shows Tim her burrow. It is small but very cozy. There is a soft bed made of leaves and a table made of a tree stump. Tim looks around and says, Your home is so different from mine. It feels very peaceful here. Fern smiles and replies, Yes, it is peaceful. I like the quiet. Do you want to see my garden? Tim nods. Yes, I would love to see it. They walk to Fern's garden. There are many plants and flowers. Fern shows Tim the berries, mushrooms, and nuts she has collected. Tim says, Wow, you have so many things here. It looks very nice. Fern feels proud. Thank you, Tim. I grow many things here. It makes me happy. Tim thinks, Fern's life is so different. It is simple but nice. I like it. Chapter 2. A Forest Feast. Fern wants to make a nice dinner for Tim. She goes to her garden and picks fresh berries, mushrooms, and nuts. Fern thinks, I hope Tim likes the food from my garden. Tim watches her and feels excited. He has never tried these foods before. Fern prepares the food. She washes the berries and mushrooms. She puts the nuts in a small bowl. Tim asks, Can I help you, Fern? Fern smiles and says, Yes, you can help. Please set the table. Tim finds 2 small plates and cups. He sets the table with care. Fern brings the food to the table. There are fresh berries, mushrooms, nuts, and a jug of cool spring water. Fern says, Dinner is ready. I hope you like it, Tim. Tim looks at the food and feels happy. It looks very good, Fern. Thank you. They start to eat. Tim tries a berry first. It is sweet and tasty. Tim says, This berry is very good. I like it. Fern feels proud. I am glad you like it, Tim. Try the mushrooms too. Tim takes a bite of a mushroom. It is soft and has a nice flavor. Tim smiles and says, The mushroom is very good too. Everything is tasty. Fern watches Tim eat and feels happy. Tim asks, Do you always eat food from your garden, Fern? Fern nods. Yes, I do. The forest gives me everything I need. I love my garden. Tim thinks, Fern's life is simple but nice. She has everything she needs here. After dinner, they sit and talk. Tim tells Fern about the town. He talks about the cafes, the parks, and the busy streets. Tim says, The town is very different from the forest. It is busy and loud. Fern listens and feels curious. I want to visit the town one day. It sounds interesting. Tim smiles. You should visit, Fern. I think you will like it. Chapter 3. The Forest Frog's Dream. That night, Fern goes to bed in her cozy burrow. She thinks about Tim's stories of the town. Fern thinks, The town sounds exciting. I want to see it. She falls asleep and starts to dream. In her dream, Fern is in the town. She sees tall buildings and busy streets. There are many cafes and shops. The next morning, Fern wakes up. She remembers her dream and feels excited. Fern thinks, I want to visit the town. I want to see it for real. She feels happy and ready for a new adventure. Fern finds Tim and tells him about her dream. Fern says, Tim, I dreamed about the town last night. It was very exciting. I want to visit the town with you. Tim smiles and says, That sounds like a great idea, Fern. I am happy you want to visit. Fern feels excited. Yes, I want to see all the things you told me about. Let's go today. Tim agrees. Yes, let's go. I will help you pack your bag. Chapter 4. The Journey to the Town. Fern packs her bag with some clothes, a snack, and a bottle of water. Fern and Tim start their journey. They walk through the forest together. The forest is quiet and green. After a long walk, they arrive at the town. Fern looks around with wide eyes. There are many buildings and people everywhere. Fern thinks, the town is so big and busy, it is amazing. Tim takes Fern to his home. It is a charming townhouse with several rooms. Fern says, Your home is very nice, Tim. I like it. Tim replies, Thank you, Fern. Let me show you around. Tim shows Fern the different rooms in his house. There is a living room, a kitchen, and a bedroom. Fern feels amazed. Your house is so big, Tim. My burrow is much smaller. Tim smiles. Yes, but your burrow is cozy and nice. This is just different. Tim leads Fern to the attic. It is a small room with a window. Tim says, You will stay here, Fern. This is your room. Fern looks around and feels happy. Thank you, Tim. I like this room. It has a nice view. Tim replies, I am glad you like it, Fern. You can see the town from here. Fern feels excited and a little nervous. Tim sees her feelings and says, Don't worry, Fern. I will show you everything. You will have fun. They both smile, feeling ready for the adventures ahead. Chapter 5. Town Life Unveiled. Tim and Fern wake up early the next day. Tim wants to show Fern the town. Tim says, Good morning, Fern. Are you ready to see the town? Fern smiles. Yes, I am ready. I am very excited. They walk through the busy streets. There are many shops, cafes, and parks. Fern feels amazed. The town is so big. There are so many things to see. Tim smiles. Yes, it is big. Let me show you my favorite cafe. They go to a small cafe. Tim orders tea and cookies for them. Tim says, This is my favorite cafe. I come here often. Fern takes a sip of tea. The tea is very good, Tim. I like it. In the cafe, they meet some of Tim's friends. The town frogs are friendly and curious. A town frog asks, Who is your friend, Tim? Tim replies, This is Fern. She is from the forest. The town frog smiles. Welcome, Fern. It is nice to meet you. After exploring the town, they return to Tim's house. Tim shows Fern the basement. Tim says, We also live here. Come and see. Fern feels a little nervous. The basement? Okay, I will see. In the basement, Fern sees many families of mice. It is dark and crowded. Fern feels shocked. There are so many mice here. Do you live with them? Tim nods. Yes, these are my housemates. They are friendly. That evening, Tim and Fern go to the dining room. There is a big feast on the table. Tim says, Look, Fern, we have cheese, bread, cookies, cakes, and lemonade. And there is also some exotic food. Fern feels excited. The food looks very good, Tim. Let's eat. Just as they start to eat, a cat jumps on the table. The cat has sharp teeth and claws. Fern screams, Ah, a cat! Run, Tim! Tim grabs Fern's hand. Quick, Fern, hide in the hole in the wall. They hide in the hole in the wall. The cat looks for them but cannot find them. Fern feels scared. That was so scary, Tim. I do not like cats. Tim feels sorry. I am sorry, Fern. The town can be dangerous. After the cat leaves, they go back to the dining room. All the food is gone. Fern feels sad. The food is gone. The humans ate everything. Tim sighs. Yes, they did. I am sorry, Fern. Chapter 6. The Cats Attack. Tim and Fern feel sad after losing their dinner. Fern thinks about the cat. Fern says, Tim, the town is not what I thought. It is scary here. Tim feels sorry. I am sorry, Fern. The cat is dangerous, but it is not always like this. Tim and Fern go to bed. Fern feels nervous about the cat. Fern says, Tim, what if the cat comes back? Tim replies, Don't worry, Fern. We will be safe in the attic. The cat cannot come here. Fern nods, feeling a little better. Okay, Tim. Thank you. In the middle of the night, Fern hears a noise. She wakes up and sees the cat outside the window. Fern whispers, Tim, wake up. The cat is back. Tim wakes up and sees the cat. Stay quiet, Fern. The cat cannot reach us here. Fern feels scared. She hides under the blanket. Fern thinks, I do not like this. I want to go back to the forest. Tim stays close to Fern. It is okay, Fern. The cat will leave soon. After a while, the cat goes away. Fern feels a bit calmer. Fern says, Tim, I am still scared. The town is too dangerous for me. Tim feels sad for Fern. I understand, Fern. I want you to feel safe. In the morning, Fern decides to leave the town. Fern says, Tim, I want to go back to the forest. I do not like it here. Tim feels sad but understands. I understand, Fern. I will help you pack. Fern packs her bag. She feels relieved to leave the town. Fern says, Thank you for showing me the town, Tim, but I miss my home. Tim replies, You are welcome, Fern. I am sorry it was not good for you. Fern and Tim walk to the edge of the town. Fern feels happy to go back to the forest. Fern says, Goodbye, Tim. Thank you for everything. Tim smiles. Goodbye, Fern. Visit me again sometime. Chapter 7. Return to the forest. Fern arrives at her cozy burrow. She feels peaceful and calm. Fern says, Home sweet home. I missed you, forest. She takes a deep breath and smells the fresh forest air. Fern unpacks her bag and looks around her home. She feels grateful. Fern thinks, My home is small, but it is perfect for me. She sits down and eats some berries from her garden. Fern decides she is happy in the forest. She loves the quiet and the safety. A few days later, Tim comes to visit Fern in the forest. He brings some cookies from the town. Tim says, Hello, Fern. I brought you some cookies. Fern smiles. Hello, Tim. Thank you. It is nice to see you. They sit together and share stories. Fern tells Tim about the peace of the forest. Tim tells Fern about the excitement of the town. Fern says, I like hearing about the town, but I am happy here. Tim replies, I understand, Fern. The forest is beautiful. Fern feels content and happy. She knows she made the right choice. Fern says, I learned a lot from my visit, but I love my simple life here. Tim smiles. I am glad you are happy, Fern. I will visit you often. Fern and Tim enjoy their time together. They feel happy and grateful for their friendship. They both smile, feeling happy and connected. The forest is quiet and peaceful, just the way Fern likes it. The end. The story is aligned with the A1 level of the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, CEFR, which is the beginner level. Here are 5 words of phrases from the story, along with their meanings, examples from the story, and examples from real life. 1. Cozy, meaning warm, comfortable, and pleasant, especially when referring to a small space. Example from the story. Fern lives in a cozy burrow in the forest, meaning her home is small but very comfortable and pleasant. Real-life example. I love sitting by the fire in our cozy living room during winter. 2. Feast, meaning a large meal with many different types of food. Example from the story. Tim and Fern see a feast on the table with cheese, bread, cookies, cakes, and lemonade. Real-life example. We had a feast on Thanksgiving with turkey, mashed potatoes, and lots of desserts. 3. scared. Meaning, feeling fear or being afraid. Example from the story. Fern feels scared when the cat jumps on the table and chases them. Real-life example. I felt scared when I heard a loud noise outside my window at night. 4. Basement. Meaning, the part of a building that is below the ground level. Example from the story. Tim shows Fern the basement, where many families of mice live. Real-life example. We store our old furniture in the basement because there's plenty of space down there. 5. Content. Meaning, satisfied and happy with what one has. Example from the story. Fern feels content and happy when she returns to her forest home. Real-life example. After a long day of work, I feel content sitting on the porch with a good book. Here are 3 things the reader can learn from the story. 1. The value of simple pleasures. 2. Appreciating different lifestyles. 3. The importance of feeling safe and comfortable. This story and voiceover have been provided by English Made Easy. Learn through stories. Copying or re-uploading is strictly prohibited.